Once upon a time, in a cozy little cottage, at the edge of a quiet village, lived an old couple named Ivan and Marya. They had everything they could wish for: a warm home, good health, and the love of their neighbors. But their hearts carried a quiet sorrow, for they had no children of their own. They spent their days watching the village children play, their laughter echoing like sweet music, and wished they had a little one to love and cherish. One cold winter morning, the world was blanketed in a thick, sparkling layer of fresh snow. The air was crisp, and the sky was a brilliant, cloudless blue. The village children poured out of their homes, their happy shouts filling the air as they built snowmen and had snowball fights. Ivan and Marya watched from their window, a familiar ache in their hearts. Then Ivan turned to Marya with a twinkle in his eye. "My dear," he said, "let's go outside and build a snowman of our own. Or better yet, let's build a snow child." Marya's face lit up. It was a wonderful idea. So they bundled up in their warmest coats, scarves, and mittens, and stepped out into the glistening snow. They worked together, their old hands shaping the snow with care and love. They gathered the purest, whitest snow and began to form a small, perfect figure. They rolled a little ball for the body, then another for the head. Ivan carefully carved delicate arms and legs, while Marya smoothed the surface until it was as soft as velvet. They used 2 little blue beads for eyes, which sparkled just like the winter sky. They made a tiny mouth from a piece of red ribbon, giving it a gentle, sweet smile. As they stood back to admire their creation, it looked so real, so lifelike. It was a beautiful little girl made of snow, her blue bead eyes seeming to hold a glimmer of life. Marya sighed. "Oh, Ivan, if only our little snow child could come to life." As she spoke those words, a magical thing happened. The snow child's ribbon lips parted, and she took a soft breath. Her blue bead eyes blinked, and a warm, rosy color spread across her snowy cheeks. Her little arms and legs began to move, and she stepped forward off the snowdrift where they had built her. She looked at Ivan and Marya with love in her eyes and said, "You made me, so you must be my mother and father." Ivan and Marya were overcome with joy. Their wish had come true. A miracle had happened. They hugged their new daughter, careful not to squeeze too tight, and led her inside their warm cottage. They named her Sneguroshka, which means the Snow Maiden. Sneguroshka was everything they had ever dreamed of. She was kind, gentle, and had a laugh that sounded like tiny icicles tinkling in the wind. She grew quickly, and with each passing day, she became more beautiful. Her skin remained as white as snow. Her hair was the color of flaxen moonlight, and her eyes were as blue as the winter sky. The whole village fell in love with her. She played with the other children, her light feet barely leaving a trace in the snow. She was a child of winter, and she thrived in the cold. The winter months passed in a flurry of happiness. Ivan and Marya's cottage was filled with laughter and love. But as the days grew longer and the sun grew warmer, a change came over us. The first signs of spring appeared. The snow began to melt, little green shoots pushed through the earth, and the birds returned, singing their cheerful songs, while everyone else rejoiced at the coming of spring. Sneguroshka grew quiet and sad. She would hide from the warm sun, preferring the cool shadows inside the cottage or under the dark pine trees in the forest. When the sunbeams touched her skin, she seemed to fade a little, becoming almost transparent. Ivan and Marya noticed her melancholy and grew worried. "What's wrong, our little snowflake?" Marya would ask, stroking her pale hair. Sneguroshka would just shake her head and look wistfully at the last remaining patches of snow. She missed the frost on the windows and the cold winter wind. One beautiful spring evening, the village girls decided to have a celebration. They invited Snegurushka to join them in the meadows to sing songs, dance, and play games. She didn't want to go, but her friends insisted. "Please come, Snegurushka. It will be fun. We're going to build a big bonfire and jump over it for good luck." Reluctantly, she agreed. Ivan and Maria watched her go, their hearts heavy with a sense of foreboding. "Be careful of the fire, my love," Maria called out. Snegurushka waved goodbye with a sad smile. In the meadow, the bonfire crackled and leaped towards the twilight sky. The girls danced in a circle, their laughter echoing through the warm air. Snegurushka stood apart, watching them from the shadows. Then it was time to jump over the fire. One by one, the girls took a running start and leaped through the flames, landing safely on the other side. "Your turn, Snegurushka," they called. "Come on, it's easy." Snegurushka hesitated. She looked at the dancing flames, so bright and warm, and felt a strange pull. She wanted to be like the other girls, to be happy and carefree in the warmth of spring. Maybe, just maybe, if she jumped, she would be okay. Taking a deep breath, she ran towards the bonfire. As she leaped into the air, her friends watched in awe. For a moment, she was silhouetted against the flames, a beautiful, ethereal figure. But as she passed over the fire, something terrible happened. She didn't land on the other side. Instead, with a soft, sad sigh, she dissolved into a wisp of fine white mist. The mist rose up from the fire, floated for a moment in the evening air, and then vanished into a small, white cloud that drifted up towards the moon. All that was left on the ground were the two little blue beads that had been her eyes. The girls stared in horror, calling her name, but there was no reply. They ran to tell Ivan and Maria, who rushed to the meadow, their worst fears realized. They found only the two blue beads glistening in the grass. Their hearts broke. They had been given the greatest gift, and now it was gone. For the rest of their days, Ivan and Maria never forgot their precious snow child. Every winter, when the first snow fell, they would look out their window, hoping to see a little girl with skin as white as snow and eyes as blue as the winter sky, playing in their yard. And sometimes they thought they could hear a faint, sweet voice in the howling winter wind, whispering, "I'm here." Their love for her remained, a warm memory in the cold heart of winter. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this fairy tale, please give this video a like and subscribe for more stories. See you next time.